All right, so here we are. We're starting to pour a 2.5-inch slab. This will be the finished floor. So you can see we have formworks here. These are just simply pine 2x4s ripped in half. So each form is 1 3/4 inches. That leaves us about 1 inch underneath for our 2.5-inch slab so that we can elevate this. This is remesh. Re is for reinforcing, so this is reinforcing mesh. This is made for like 2.5 to 4-inch slabs. So we just leveled the earth of the subfloor 2.5 inches below finished floor, which is here. And put down the remesh, rigged up all the forms. Now we're filling them in. And once we get a batch, I could show you the next part, but it could take a minute.
I guess the most important part of pouring slabs or mixing rather, is to let everything get to know itself and each other in there one at a time. A lot of times we'll rush it and it'll come out like soup and all wet, and that's just because things haven't thawed out and really gotten to know each other. Another trick is just after every ingredient you add, lift it up for a while, set it back down, lift it up for a while, set it back down, and that just gives it a chance to mingle a little bit better, and then you have a better idea. You're not assuming that you have this much or something, and then you want it to fall on top of itself in the mixer rather than kind of be a wet wave. It wants to kind of like break apart and fall on top, and you'll hear it. It'll be like a thump, thump every time. That's really the key, I think. So mix is going to be 2 gravel. That's just 2 buckets of gravel, 2 buckets of sand, and 1/2 bag of cement. And I'd say, depending on your weather, today, because it's snowy, we're using about a little bit less than 1/2 bucket of water to start out with. So it'll be water first, then and then 1 sand, and then 1/2 bag cement, and then your final sand. And again, just letting those things mix up for after every step, and that should get you a nice slab.
Now we're going to pour some concrete inside of our forms. It's important now that we elevate the mesh before we do too much, because if it's just laying on the earth down here flat and you pour on top of it, it's really not performing its function. It has to be embedded in the concrete. So we're just going to elevate the mesh into the bottom third of the pour, which is also the gap we left under our forms. Like that. Now it's up. So it's key just to vibrate the concrete, make sure it gets into every little hole and there's no air in it. The more you vibrate it, the more it starts to flatten out as well. It kind of becomes more liquid. So now what I'm doing is really tamping it. It's going to make all the rocks sink below the surface and kind of bring the water and cement up to the surface. That's what we call the cream, which will eventually, after this dries out, be the finish. All right. Now, because we have level forms on both sides of the slab, we're going to pick out a nice straight board. 2x4 is good. It's nice and rigid. And we're going to use that to screed between our level forms. It's going to make this thing nice and flat for us. So then as you're streeting along, see now I can see I got a low spot there. I'll just back it up and fill that in. Yeah, now we're waiting for the next batch, but now it's nice and flat. And later on when it dries up some more, we'll actually trowel it. Yeah, that's how you get it in there.